But without further ado, I don't see his face. Hopefully, my man Tony Hope pops up in here. If I see his face, um, we'll make sure. We'll make sure. Oh, there he goes, right there. Voila, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, another champion, a champion in which we're referring to right now, which we speaking on, a multiple time champion, someone who lost the belt, came back, got it back in blood, a young journalism major. Not a young journalism major, a young journalist. We speak things in absolute indefinites. A man that will be taking on Dorian Harris for the vacant NFC featherweight championship. If I'm not mistaken, this is mixed martial arts. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tony Hope.
No, what's good? What's happening?
How you living, bro?
I'm still living good, bro. Training hard. I'm ready to fight in a few more weeks, or not in a few weeks, in a few more days.
Talk to me, man. Is school's out?
Yes, sir.
Where you at with it? You back at the crib?
Yeah, I'm back at the crib. I'm just been working this summer. This is the first semester, or the first time in 2 years where I'm not doing summer semester. So I'm just working and training and fighting. So
Can we speak on the parents real quick? I know we typically talk about your dad. I've seen your mom at the fights all the time, man. What does it mean to just be able to come home during the summer?
it feels good, bro. Like I not to have the obligation of like um paying rent or living in a dorm somewhere or off campus or in another state. That's a luxury. That's a blessing for me because it allowed me to do a whole bunch of stuff. It allowed me to really pursue fighting. I'm not gonna lie, because I wasn't supposed to go to Georgia State in the first place. I was supposed to go to a college out of state, way out of state. So just to be able to stay with them, or stay with my mom and be able to train, do nothing but train, work, go to school, and focus on myself. Definitely a luxury, definitely a blessing. And I feel like it shows its benefits in a whole multitude of ways. And it's going to pay dividends in the future, too.
Love to see it, man. Yo, it seemed like your neck got thicker, dog. Like
Oh,
I know
that's,
you going up in weight, bro, but
yeah.
like yo, you been eating. Like what's
Hey,
up?
hey, man, look, I'm telling you, people will like call it crazy that me going up in weight is just going up to 145. Like it's such a light weight, but it makes a humongous difference in just how I've been training and enjoying the fight camp. I've enjoyed my fight camps for like the I said last 3-4 fights. I've always had something to kind of enjoy it, but now where I get to like just put on muscle, eat, and just train super hard, like my body is like thanking me for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm enjoying it, and it's gonna show in the cage too. Like this is the best I've ever felt leading up to a fight.
So tell me, man, this upcoming fight on the 21st is for the vacant featherweight. Is this mixed martial arts too?
Not yet. It's still Muay Thai. It's Muay
Okay,
Thai.
all right. So my bad. Okay,
Yeah,
I was spewing some non-factual information.
yeah. One soon. I am going to make that transition soon. I've even now I'm still like training in MMA. Right after this fight, after I win and get this second belt, I'm going to start hitting the mat with some jujitsu and hopefully make that transition sometime next year. It's no rush, but I definitely want to make sure I get my groundwork in. But until then, yeah, it's Muay Thai against Dorian. Um, Still 5 rounds, 2 minutes, same thing, just me going up facing a bigger opponent.
How'd this fight come about?
Uh, I'm I was right after the fight against the trilogy fight against Cam. Um, I made it like known I wanted to fight June 21st. Like, man, it's at the Battery. The Battery's my favorite place to fight. So anytime I can get on a Battery card, that's what I want to do. Um, and I was talking to my coach OC, and we were just kind of conversating, and he kind of threw the idea out of going up a weight class just to try it out there. And I thought on it, sat on it, wanted to think about it, and then I was like, hey, let's do it. I'm still an amateur, so right now is the time to try out everything while there's no, real stakes, like as far as money is concerned and records and profession, like opportunity, stuff like that. So to go up in weight, and honestly, it's just me not cutting as much as I would to get to 35. It's like, let's just go ahead and try it. And we was able to find an opponent and get on that battery card, which is what I wanted to do. So
I'm personally not familiar with Dorian, man. How did Dorian become the guy?
that's a good question. I'm not sure. He hasn't fought in the NFC. I know he's fought in a couple of IKF tournaments. I know he fought for Elevate, but he never fought for NFC. So I'm not sure how. I expected it to be someone else, but at the same time, I didn't really care who I was going to fight. Like I'm just one of those right now. When the opportunity to fight at 145 came about, I was like, all right, let's do it. No matter who it was going to be, I thought it was going to be someone different. But it ended up being Dorian. He's still early in his fighting career, so it was interesting to see. But nonetheless, hey, we get matched up against me on a huge card in a great venue. So it's gonna kind of throw him into the water. So we're gonna see how it goes.
We're going to see how it goes June 21st. That's a Friday. If you haven't already, make sure you get your tickets as my man, the Tony Hope, will be one half of the NFC vacant featherweight Muay Thai title fight. I want to go back to something that you talked about earlier. You said you're working this summer. Where are you working, if you don't mind us asking?
I work as an intern at a music studio near downtown.
You've been doing that. Last time we talked, man, you were doing that too, right? You were just leaving.
Yeah, I've still been going strong there under Atlantic Records. So that's cool. And then just doing like some little part-time stuff here and there. But yeah, like I said, just focusing on working, grinding, completing responsibilities and different goals that I had for this quarter of the year. And before we get back into school, I got about one more year left, like one calendar year left before I graduate college. So we starting to get into that crunch time.
Are you somebody that's always goal oriented? Like you write out goals for quarters, like have quarterly goals,
Yep.
yearly goals? What's up?
Everything. I always write down my goals. This is the first time I'm doing quarterly. So January through March and April through June, July through September, and October through December. First time I've done that. And it's been working. Like in April, in April, I wrote out, get on that June 21st card. Here we are. Done a bunch of different things too. But even with fighting, like I've written out exactly how I want this fight to go. Like I just think a lot of people underestimate the power of speaking and writing things into existence. Like that's the only way you're going to make yourself focused enough to do certain things, in my opinion, is if you continuously state it. And if you speak it in the affirmative and it's always in your face, that way you have no choice but to strive towards. And that's what I've been doing. And it's definitely worked. I ain't gonna lie, it definitely works.
Respect, man. I want to speak more just on like the idea of like self-talk. This is Men's Mental Health Month amongst other things, right? I want to know how you go about balancing your mental health as you're navigating being a college student, chasing the martial arts dream and just navigating just everyday life, man. How do you go about handling with things that go on between your ears?
It's I handle it by just kind of staying in the present, focusing on what I can do now. Sometimes I can get caught up in over planning or planning everything out and having I would expect certain things. And I've learned, and I'm still learning, that when I do that, oftentimes things don't go as expected as we want it. And if you get too caught up in planning for the future and trying to make sure everything goes right, when stuff doesn't, it can be a letdown. And I felt that so many times, as far as just accomplishing certain things. So I try to stay in the present, control what I can control right now, and appreciate the things that I have now. Because when you can't expect to treat bigger things properly if you can't appreciate what you have now, So how can you expect to take care of your Lamborghini if you can't take care of your Honda Civic? You can't even appreciate that. So you're definitely not going to do it when you get something that is actually worth something. So definitely appreciating that, and always knowing that, hey, stuff clears up eventually, as long as you kind of keep your head on straight, keep pushing forward, striving, and looking to prosper. So that's how I handle it, especially with all the stuff that I have on my plate. Not as far as like stressful things, but school, fighting, training, working, personal stuff. Like, it's just a lot. But like I said, it's focusing on what I can do right now and not worrying about the future, and definitely not thinking about the past.
Most definitely, man. I'll tell you this, and I'm telling you this because we share a similar stop on our path at Georgia State. Our professors, they would always force us to go out there and interview people. And I'll never forget the first person I ever interviewed. His name was Jerry Goodman. And he was, at the time, he was homeless, and he was living in a park right behind, right between the King Center and Edgewood. You know that park right behind there? I think it's one of those parks. I forgot what it's called. He was living back there, and I never forgot. He was like, yo, when you appreciate the little blessings, you'll get bigger ones. And I think that's kind of what you just said, man. You got to appreciate the Honda Civic before you can get the Lambo.
Yeah.
And with that, man, are you good? What's up? You good? You got a positive check-in?
Man, perfect. Like, I'm enjoying my summer. I'm enjoying the process. Enjoying this year. Like, a lot of stuff I've been accomplishing this year, and I'm excited to go in there and fight in about 10 more days. Man, this is the most anticipated I've been for a card, and I know I say that every time, but that's
I'm about to say, bro, because you said that, I was like, yo, you did fought Cameron Burton 3 times, bro. We did talked every time before. You was like, nah, I'm ready for this one. But like, it just gets better every time, huh?
It gets better every time, because with more and more experience, like, it just makes just knowing how, as fighters, our opportunities to actually perform are kind of spread out. Like, it's not like basketball where you can play on a back-to-back. Like, you have 82 games. It's not like football where you're playing consistently every week for 18 weeks plus. Like, for us, it's like we might have, at most, if you're super active, 4 times a year, 5 times. And 5 times is a lot. So anytime I can get in there and, show my improvements and entertain, I'm just super. It motivates me. To get in there.
This your Super Bowl,
bro. Every time I fight, it's a Super Bowl. I'm telling you, every time. Especially now that it's for belts, and it's in a great venue like the Battery. Easy.
Yeah, man. That's going to be a great night. Again, Friday, June 21st, NFC 166 at the Battery. Tony Hope will be taking on, and let me get my man's name right. Let me make sure I'm saying it correctly, Darian Harris, for the vacant NFC Featherweight Championship. He represents ATT Sandy Springs. Shout out to him. Now, we know what your intention is as you get into this fight. I want to talk about a couple other fights on the card, man. I feel like you keep up with the game. And I like, you be talking a lot of Cash Money too online. I be seeing like the comments, like you ride for your squad, bro.
Oh, easy.
It's GTA against the world. And I see that, and I be, I don't make a lot of comments online when it comes to this fight game, because I want to make sure I'm staying very much so in the center of things. However, I watch the fighters and I see who be talking online, and I'm interested. I want to get your take on a couple of things, man. The main event of that evening is Lewis Brewington versus Reese Watkins. How do you see that fight playing out?
Man, that's gonna be a crazy fight. That's gonna be a crazy one, and that was when that fight was announced. That was solidified it for me. Like, oh yeah, I gotta get on here too. Cause I know I'm gonna be kind of up there in the card most likely. So I'm like, hey, I want to kind of. It's like a competitive factor for me too. I'm like, I know that's what everybody's gonna try to come and see, but I'm gonna try to steal the show. So I want to get on that card too. I know that the environment's gonna be lit, but hey, yeah, Lou versus Reese. Man, I couldn't even tell you how that fight's going to go. I just know it's going to be a scrap for sure. It's going to be a scrap. 2 guys that clearly have a lot of history between each other. I don't personally know the full thing. I'm cool with both of them. I don't know the full story between it, but that's why we're blessed to be in this profession where, look, we got a problem with each other. we have a literal legal way of fighting it out and deading the issue. I'm glad that this fight was made. I know that they were supposed to fight before and it fell through. This time it's going to be in the best venue to fight at. Bro, that energy is going to be crazy in there.
Have you ever fought somebody that you didn't like?
No. Mm-mm. I'm a man of, like, it's just what it is. Like, I don't have any problems with anyone unless, like, someone has a problem with me. Now, there are people that I want to fight, but not because of a dislike for them specifically. It's just like little personal, like, challenges I would like to see. But that's neither here nor there. You can get into that another day.
After the fight, I'm a bookmark this part of the conversation though. Okay. We can talk about that after the fight because I know you got a goal in front of you. I'm just interested, like, if you were a part of this fight, because there's some beef that has to get cooked inside of that cage come the 21st during the main event. Could you just imagine just like how you would go about, walking into that? Like, obviously you don't like, and I feel like the big thing is with this fight that we're discussing right now, nobody wants to lose.
Nope.
Like, that's not the fight you want to lose. Obviously, you don't want to lose any fight. But this fight, because you already know the parade is going to be loud.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing about it. And, we see that through amongst all sports. It's like you have the more you talk, the more you kind of let your feelings be known, the higher the stakes get. Because you know how they say, we see it in all sports. They love you 1 minute and they hate you the next. That's just how flip-floppy the game is. And it's this, like, you're absolutely right. This is one of those fights where, losing means a lot more than just another loss on your record. And then as far as, like, approaching that fight, it's a lot of mind games, I feel, especially in today's era where social media is so powerful. We know Lou got a big following, and we know Reese got a big following. So, and we know they probably, they're both seeing what each other are posting.
I'm watching their stories too. I know you. I'll be watching. I'll be like, ooh,
yeah.
Ooh.
And you know that they're kind of, whether it's through their own eyes or through the mouths of others, they're keeping up with each other and what they're saying. So, if I were in that situation, you can't let your mental get compromised. You can't let the shit talk progress to a degree to where, like, you're now thrown off your game, where all you want to do is put your hands on them and you lose focus on your game plan. You lose focus on what you're good at, and you're trying to now fight a fight that isn't yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, I get it. It's a bad blood. You got to remain focused in your training, because at the end of the day, your mind will break faster than your body. So if your mind, you're going to that fight compromised and you're kind of thinking too hard on what could happen or the results of what could have happened or the shit talk, and we've seen it play out before, and that it won't do you justice. So
that's a fine line that you have to balance in the cage, right?
Yes.
Fascinating. Now, I want to also speak on some of your teammates, because there's a lot of GTA guys on this card. And let me just ask you this: y'all cool? Y'all call it GTA? Is it cool calling it GTA?
Yeah.
Does everybody know? Like, when I say it at the fights, when I say like GTA, does everybody know what the hell I'm talking about? Right?
Yeah, Gwinnett Training Academy.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool.
They better know. If they don't know, they're going to.
You've been there for a minute now, huh?
Yeah. Then my last fight with Cam was the first official fight under them, but I have been training up there for a while now. Yeah.
Now, you and I were going back and forth, just talking about this on the internet. Devon Delorier, your partner at Gwinnett Training Academy, is fighting Isan Mirzad. I feel like that's a really fair fight. I feel like that's a very even, fair fight. You obviously train with Devon. What have you been seeing from his perspective that makes you so confident in him?
When I say Devon is the toughest training partner I have ever, from amongst all the people I've sparred with.
You done sparred with Tony a couple of times. I mean, excuse me, with TJ.
TJ, and TJ's still up there too. I just trained with him and his ass. He's always going to be up there amongst the toughest. But the list of champs that I've trained with, the the differing pros, amateurs, young, old, it's a lot. But Devon is the toughest because anytime I spar with him, we're so evenly matched as far as our physique and our mental. Like we approach the way we fight very methodically. And then of course with OC and his training and his teachings guiding us, it's like for us to get the upper hand on each other is super tough. And I know that these other fighters don't have that same um, information that we have. So while it might look matched up evenly on paper, whether it's height, weight, wins, losses, I don't even look at that because I know Devon's mental, and that's anyone at GTA, including Miles, Jared, Nico, everybody that's affiliated under GTA. Our information that we're getting is so advanced that I don't care how much bigger, how stronger, how much faster, how many wins that another person has. They're already at a disadvantage because they don't know what we know as far as how to approach combat. That's the big difference. And that's why I'm always going to be so confident in my teammates. Devon, I told you that it may look as an even fight. It might be a good fight, but I have zero doubt that Devon is going to take that win. Zero
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, look, I love the vote of confidence in your teammate. If you're not talking about your teammates like that, are they really your teammate at this point in time?
Mm-hmm.
If Devon makes a statement in that fight, like I know, a lot of people were ducking him. That was the word on the curve. A lot of people were ducking him,
Yeah.
when he first came on. If he makes a statement in this fight, which is his third and final amateur fight with the pads and everything, oh, he has to fight for a title next. I'm just
Easy.
putting it out. I mean, like he just I don't if he especially against this guy who has fought advanced amateur MMA. You know what I'm saying? He's fought. He's done it all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be a really good fight. A couple more things, and I really do appreciate your time tonight, Tony Hope, the Tony Hope, joining me here on NFC Now, show number 75. Miles Neal coming off the baby. I'm talking about the baby. The baby's still breastfeeding, right? The baby's still got the umbilical cord still attached. He's fighting Ronaldo Hernandez. How have you seen that? Is that guy a 55er? He is a 55er. He fights Muay Thai, Trace Harper, to answer your question. Miles Neal, again, baby, still got the umbilical cord attached, respectfully. He's going to be fighting Ronaldo Hernandez. What have you seen from him training with him? Just his mindset changed as he's brought a new life into the world.
Yeah, still a dog as always. He's still been training. Like, he knew about the baby, or we all knew the expected delivery date way before he still wanted to take the fight, and he's still been here training. I still give him MMA rounds. We still go Muay Thai against each other, and with him coming from a wrestling background, but then also training heavy in Muay Thai, getting his striking up, he's super dangerous, and he's probably, out of all the people I train with now, he's definitely one of the hardest hitters. You don't want to get touched by him. It's just not, his last fight against Trace Harper, that was a really good fight. That was Halloween, October last summer around. That was a good fight. And Miles just, like you said, just like the rest of us, getting so much combat information. He's continuously evolving as a fighter. And now with the baby, look, that gives him even more motivation. You
You can't lose in front of the kid, right?
You got someone to fight for as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a little extra hint of motivation, more than he already has. And he's going to bounce back. He's going to get a great dub.
What should we expect from Jarrett Lee?
Oh, my goodness, bro. Jarrett, I tell everyone this. Jarrett has the most potential out of any of us. Any of us, easy.
Why?
Because number one, he's super young. Like he just turned 18 essentially.
Okay.
I started training when I was 18. So like that just, and where he's at 18, I hadn't even started. I just started. You know what I'm saying? So he's levels above where a lot of us were at that same age. He trains against grown men. He is not scared of anyone. He won't back down. And when I say that his fight style is very frustrating, it's very frustrating to go against. He's been doing his thing in the IKF tournaments and different black eye tournaments as a junior. Now that he's finally old enough and legal to fight in Georgia, well, he's going to take this opportunity. He's going to run with it. I tell you, his fight is going to. I think he's at the beginning of the card too. He is going to kick off the night with a knockout. I promise.
Calling it.
I'm calling it right now.
Let's circle that. Let's circle. Look, my man Miles says Jared equals big problems. Let's see again. And Jared, I feel like being in the room. My dad always says showing up is 80% of the battle. Just being in the room, right? You know, you can people out of game. Jared's been helping the National Fighting Championship get the cage prepared for the fighters for over a year.
Right.
Him and Devon, they just been helping, and they're there. They're watching every fight. Not saying much, just helping, just watching and peeping the scene. And I'm sure that's the same case in the gym. He's there getting those rounds in. He's making his debut. I know Devon's debut was highly anticipated because we see him in the cage, preparing the cage for the fighters.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got Jarrett Lee coming up. I'm looking forward to watching him compete. Last question, man. When can I get on Hear Me Roar?
Hey, so we gonna be making a Hear Me Roar return after this fight. I've been just due to like life stuff. I've been took a little break from it, from making actual podcast. I've been doing YouTube instead. So after this fight, hey, we can get on there. We can talk about. I intend on making a YouTube channel breaking down my win. We can get you on there too with me and my co-host Nobe, and we can go on there. We can talk about the fights, talk about some basketball, football coming back up. So
I'm all sports, bro. I'm all sports, bro. If it's sport, I'm watching. We got the Olympics coming up, man. I'm watching the Tour de France. Like I'm all of that, bro. If it's sport, I'm in. I respect what you got going on. You just said something real interesting. I know this is my first time hopping on the pod in about 4 or 5 weeks. Talk about how tough it is to stay consistent with this, man. Like this is work.
Yeah, it is. And I'm really, because my end goal is to be on radio and TV as a sports analyst, and while being a professional fighter, doing both. So I guess right now is crucial. Like just being able to do this, to have a portfolio is a big accomplishment for me, because other people that want to become the same thing as me might not have this. Being consistent is definitely tough. When I was younger and I watched YouTube, and I'll be like, man, why hasn't this guy posted in a few months? I don't understand. Now I do. But stuff just be happening. Right? Just stuff happens.
Yes, sir.
Whether you lose motivation, or whether you get really busy in life, or whether it's just whatever the circumstances may be. Definitely no excuse. Got to try to be as consistent as possible. But it's also, like you said, Men's Mental Health Month. If you need a break from it, you can always get back into it. Always. But that's one thing I'm learning. I took a break, and just like, while you're in this break, what are you doing for the comeback? You know what I'm saying? Are you just are you not watching any sports at all, or you're not training at all? Whether, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you are taking a break, you have to still be doing something to put you closer to your end goal when you come back.
I feel like we're consistently evolving, and like, we might be a caterpillar one day, but the next day we a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you might not even come back in the same form, right?
Exactly.
As long as you just continuing to do the work, the work's gonna show up. Tony Hope, before we part ways, man, final thoughts. What do you want to leave me and the entire NFC community with this evening?
Look, this is going to be one of the biggest cards in NFC history. If you don't have your tickets, go purchase them. Come support me. Come support my teammates. Come support the other fighters. It's gonna be a fun night. Expect me to be walking out of the Battery with 2 divisions on lock, and I will be fighting and defending both belts. But once I get that 145 belt, I'm gonna be defending both of them. And like I said, when I come back on the show, I got some names that I want to go ahead and put a challenge out there for. But hey, I appreciate you having me on. It's always fun. And look, we'll be here again after June 21st talking about what happened.
Number love, man. Tony Hope, the Tony Hope, joining me here on NFC Now show number 75. Nothing but love, man. Keep hustling.
Yes, sir.
Respect. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Tony Hope joining me here on NFC Now show number 75.